now this is my build, game capture. So yeah, I have nullifier so that I don't lose my energy, Avenger because extra crit chance, I guess. I mean, I don't know if this is even really necessary. Uh, Adaptation for survivability, vigorous off for more damage, all this, all the strength for more damage. And then the thing is that Shock Trooper gives you 100% electric damage, but not just you, your teammates too. And with the extra power strength, you're actually getting more than 100%. You're getting a big buff of electric damage onto your weapons. So like even if you don't shoot through the shield, it doesn't matter. You don't need heat, or you don't need electric damage on your weapon. You just need heat damage because you're getting the electric damage from this to get radiation. So regardless of if you shoot through your shield or if you activate your first ability, you hold it down to give yourself and your teammates extra damage, and you'll get the electric and be able to do radiation. So then you have fleeting expertise for efficiency, vitality for health with adaptation, more survivability, also boosting the strength on intensify because the Umbra mods combined do better stats. And then you have a little bit of chance to resist knockdown, which is nice. I don't have prime sure-footed yet. And then there's more, right? There's even more than that. So we go over here, we have the build, whatever, multi-shot, crit chance, crit damage, reload, damage, heat, crit damage, and reload. That's all that I have. And then my focus, this is the big thing, right? 1000% more damage when I activate this ability. And enemies take double the damage. Oh wait, not that one. Enemies take twice as much damage from they take twice as much damage from operator abilities like amps. So when you use your second ability, contamination wave, you use it on the Eidolon guy, and then you're able to do twice as much damage with your amp. So if you don't have Void Strike ready, you spam this on him, and then you dash into the ground for the reason that you want this. One second. How do you show this? Where my operator be at? I gotta leave the dojo. I don't know. I'm trying to show my operator. My amp. Alright. Equipment. Oh no, operator. Equipment. So then you have an amp, right? The best one I think is the 177 actually for tri-cap, but I use the 777, which also is fine. I mean, either one is fine. When the new arcanes that they added from the Zarmon area are actually better than the other arcanes that we had for Eidolon killing. So when you use any operator ability, you get 60% more damage to amps for 8 seconds, and the other one gives you 180% crit chance for 8 seconds on energy depleted from your operator. So by using your first ability, you deplete all your energy, get 1000% more damage, 150% more crit chance, and 60% more damage. Wave these are maxed out. So that's a fuck ton of damage, and then you're just like destroying the shield really quickly. And with the extra 1000% damage, also if that still happens to be on your weapon, then you're gonna easily one-shot it without even using any of your without even like buffing yourself with Volt. I need a post and trade check. And then if you don't have your first ability ready, then you spam your second ability and dash into the ground to get both these activated. And then elevate for HP. And lockdown is not necessary for this. We could use anything else. I don't know what I would recommend for this. Cadence maybe, Void Sim, more sprint speed. I don't know. So that's what I currently have set up for Eidolons. I think that's all the multipliers that go into account, pretty much. Alright, now let's check out Brozime's setup. see if there's something that I'm missing.
Is a starter. If you look at the usage, Volt Prime is used quite a bit by a lot of higher MR players and such.
Yeah, like
and honestly, I don't know if that's just, the popularity of people liking him as a starter and then like converting into the Prime variant and they're
I think the fact is that the higher MR you get, the higher likelihood that you're going to be using the Prime variant rather than the non-Prime variant, because you just understand how you either spend money on the game and get plat and trade for it so that you can get more Warframes, or because you want to get a Prime version of what you're using, or you trade and you progress, or you farm it because it's a farmable or whatever, something happens like that where like the more time you play, the higher chance you're going to have the primes, and then if you have the primes, you're not going to be using the normal ones anymore.
There being like pretty good access to Volt Prime just in general, and Volt's builds being pretty easy to put together, like kind of being the thing, because I have never really been super attached to Volt, and I have never really thought of him as being super meta for much, besides, of course, Eidolons, which we'll talk about.
I mean, I think Volt is amazing, but I've been seeing people use Volt in like missions to go fast and stuff like that, and like there's just so many other things that are better, like Titania, Wukong, Wisp, Govs, but Volt's not terrible. I mean, Volt's pretty good. If you have like a squad of people that are buffing like a Wisp and a Volt, both buffs are different and they stack, so you get even more speed.
So I'm curious, if you happen to be a Volt player, what are you
Who are
using
the Volt
him for?
players?
Is it really just Eidolon?
Who's the
Is
the only time I use Volt is for
Prime,
Eidolons. Lol.
That high, just
that's
raw
why
people doing Eidolons.
That is why my
waiting around
Volt is like my top one of my top 10.
Or are you using him for other stuff? Like, are you really? Is he your go-to for ESO?
Top 10
What's the deal? I'm actually very curious to find out what you're using Volt for in the comments, because in this video we're gonna go over two things that I feel like he's generally pretty used for, and that's what's up. First and foremost, Eidolons. This is like the Eidolon.
Alright, let me see this.
I would run it.
What is he lacking? Oh, he has Augur Secrets instead of Umbral Intensify and Umbral Vitality. He has Streamline instead of Fleeting. And that's it. No, wait, he also has Prime Continuity instead of... Wait, do I have Prime Continuity? I don't think I do.
In with Volt, it's pretty basic. It uses Shock Trooper for a lot more damage. Obviously, we have a lot of duration for our electric shield because we want to shoot through that with our operator, and also whenever we're destroying Zenobia, ideally, depending on how we're doing it. And we have, good efficiency. We're using Energize, we're using Arcane Nullifier, so we don't get magnetic procced.
Yeah, this is really
we're
similar
using
to
Vigorous Swap just for like the extra damage, because there's not really much else.
Using Corrosive Projection, but he could also be using the sniper one for extra sniper damage.
Need for Eidolons, and this can be
but
number
the
of
thing
other
is
mods.
that you don't actually need to use a sniper. You could kill it with literally other stuff, so using this could be like a better option depending on what you have available to you.
For just general
what
gameplay.
squad
It
you're in.
converts really easily into just playing Volt in
Depends,
regular content. But
if
generally
nobody's
speaking,
using
it's
snipers and
easy to run,
people are
you've
using
got
other
Roar
weapons
instead
to
of
break
R4, because your 4 is obviously not
limbs,
useful
then
for Eidolons at all, and
sniper
4 is just a
damage,
generic
honestly.
damage bonus that's solid and affects your whole squad, which is always good. There are, of course, other things that you can use. You can go with Mirage's ability. You could do Dispensary for just energy for everybody. Like, there's plenty of stuff that this could be. There's quite a few good options on any frame that builds duration.
I forgot to mention I'm using Mirage's Eclipse, not Roar.
Strength, and he's got a lot of good options. Roar is always...
The thing about Mirage's Eclipse is that when you're doing Eidolons, you're always in the moonlight, and so you always get the damage buff. So it doesn't spread to your teammates, I'm pretty sure, but it's useful to be able to do the one shot for yourself.
He's a great one. Hard to go wrong with Roar as long as you've got decent stats for it. So this is just doing Eidolon's Volt. I will say,
you get more damage out of Eclipse, but
if I
Roar
was
affects
gonna
your
solo
teammates, and
Eidolons,
it's a
I
different
know
kind of
that Volt
multiplier.
is faster.
It's better for other stuff, not
Also,
Eidolons.
stuff like Wisp and
I
even
think.
Trinity
be
are
wrong.
probably going to be like more casual friendly, and if you're not really trying to max out that speed and like absolutely get those 5x3s and you're doing it on like a much more chill level, probably Volt is not the way to go. He's definitely like the trying very hard, getting as many runs into these Eidolons as possible before night ends. Like that's what you're going for with Volt in general, and that's what this is for.
Interesting.
With that, we do have another build. Thievery is some hilarious outdated stuff whenever we farmed lockers, so ignore that.
Hold up,
We
I want to
have
check the
ESO
stats.
So-
I want to check his stats versus my stats really quick, because I forget what my stats were. Let me see. My duration's 122 less, efficiency is 150 higher, range is the same, strength is the same. Actually, my strength is 1% higher somehow. Yeah, I don't have continuity, but I have narrow-minded adaptation, which he doesn't have. So I have adaptation instead of continuity. And umbral vitality instead of augur secrets and umbral intensifiers. So mine is a 6 form build and his is a 3 form build. So mine is way more expensive. It's probably way more unnecessary too. Avenger is, I could probably swap Avenger for Energize, to be honest, but I just be spamming energy pads. Like I don't use Energize because I use energy pads whenever I need energy.
Farmed lockers.
Like energy pads are cheap for me because I always have the boosters and I play every day and I do fissure missions and I use the Zar and I break it, I kill. I break crates and kill really quickly with that.
Ignore that.
And I just fly through the mission and get so much resources by doing that.
We have the ESO build. So this is what we have for the ESO build, and I will note for this build, outdated stuff whenever we farmed that.
What was
this is what we have for the ESO build, and I will note for this build, it is worth noting
I don't do
that,
ESO, to be honest.
Transient Fortitude, and instead, if you wanted to forma for Umbral Intensify, that would be better.
My Volt builds 6 formas and it requires an Umbral forma.
Intensify to the Umbral one and to swap Transient Fortitude to it. That's just not worth it to me.
It's not worth it, bro. I have too many Umbral formas.
For both builds, if you want to put the Umbral forma in,
I did it.
Very simple change to do. And on this build, especially, you will appreciate the additional duration because if you're taking this into Elite Sanctuary Onslaught, you will be hounded.
See, this is the thing that I didn't expect, bro. I always expect when I watch Brozime videos for him to have a better build than me, but my build has 3 more formas and one of them's an Umbral forma. So, what the fuck?
By Samaris. Because, of course, if you do it too fast, if you hit your 4 too much,
how did that happen?
You can't use your 4 anymore. And that's the ability you're trying to use to clear and kill everyone. So, that's very bad when that happens.
But this is a good build for 3 forms.
For ESO in general,
it's almost my build.
Not my pick. I think a lot of Warframes do it better than him, but he's an easy-to-get Warframe that can
just
do
lacking
it.
adaptation.
And this build is really not too bad to put together. Obviously, we are over-forma'd for this build. It's actually only a 2-forma build, as you can see pretty easly. And, of course, like,
dang, is
to cut
2 forma build on
especially
this.
If you're going to be running just regular SO, Augur Message is not needed. Like just dropping stuff off here and there.
Budget builds, really budget builds are really valuable for
version
people.
of this build, and regular Sanctuary Onslaught will be absolutely
I feel like people care more about budget
and
builds
I think
than
that's actually probably the better place for it because in Elite Sanctuary Onslaught you get options like Saren, which work better with the higher level enemies, but Volt works better at killing lower level enemies because he doesn't need anything to like build up. He just does the damage that he does, and whenever that evaporates everybody, that works out great for Volt. We are also using Molt Augmented on here. Not necessary at all, but more strength as you kill more guys is, of course, going to be very good whenever the whole point of the build is to use strength and range to kill a bunch of dudes. So yeah, that's like what's up with Volt. Worth noting that this build also is like pretty decent for just like generally having the speed buff going. Just getting, like your nice boost, just generally being boosted up, throwing your shields up, and just having roar and like using shock trooper, and like those 2 damage bonuses multiply one another, so like that's great. It's good stuff, but like it's very generally useful. I had a hard time finding like a particular
sweet video.